As promised, part two of my conversation with Brandon Nash. Here we talk market price adjustments, providing value, and oh yeah, we're gonna get a little nasty. All right, now you mentioned price. Let's talk about price for a bit.
Sure.
What's your position on, in the current market conditions, what's your position on dealer market adjustment pricing?
So ours is pretty straightforward. The manufacturers are putting together a price as far as what they feel it's worth, what institutions are going to be able to lend on it, so forth and so forth. Do we all have a struggle right now as far as inventory? Yes. Is it technically the consumer's fault? No. So like when you get into specifics as far as like freight and prep and all the stuff that comes in, we're straight. We charge what we charge based off the time and effort that it gets and whatever is listed on the manufacturer's price. If there's going to be any type of market adjustment to offset as far as the lack of inventory that we have, for example, some of the side-by-sides, I don't mark the freight and prep up. I put accessories on it. So that way, if you are going to possibly buy something a little more than what MSRP is, you're getting value for it. You're getting stuff that you'd probably put on there anyways. So that's kind of our position. And, a lot of our customers are asking, well, this dealer's here and this dealer's there. I said, none of that's relevant. What's relevant as far as what you're going to purchase it at and what you feel comfortable with. And especially if you're going to feel comfortable buying it from me and what we do. So at the end of the day, you can shop around, you can do everything you want, but at the end of the day, you're probably going to land on, well, I would have put a roof on or a street kit or different tires and wheels or whatever. That stuff's already on there. So just depends as far as, if you want something for that elevated price, or if you just want to, pad the pockets and go from there. And we've told people too, we are going through this current situation with two goals in mind. We want to make sure the lights are staying on and our employees are kept employed and I don't have to lay anybody off. And two, we're still making customers happy and doing it the right way.
Yeah. I really like that accessorization and providing value, not just marking it up because you can, because I think that ultimately that will have a rebound effect,
Yeah, well, you're not just going to romance the customer for one sale. You're trying to do it for a long time.
Yeah, and I also like the way that you say that, we want you to do business with us, and here's why you should.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So now what we should do is, yeah, I think we have to. I think we have to. Let's get nasty. Can we? Could you please tell our viewers for just a second before I pull some stuff up, what in God's name are Nashty Customs?
Well, Nashty Customs has grown from kind of this idea that we started back in 2017. Obviously, it's a play on our words as far as a dealership, but truly what it is we're trying to have signature pieces that people can buy, either if it's something that we do ourselves as a floor piece, right? And, we put an idea together, we build it up, design it, have a fun flair to it, put it on the showroom floor to buy it. And or customers will come in and say, I want to get a Nashty Customs build. And I have one currently where we're building it up. And the guy literally is saying, I want you guys to be proud of it. I want you to put your logo on there. I want to go out in there and know who built the machine for me. We've actually had people approach us about doing a TV series for it. Not anything we're willing to do right now. We've had people say, man, you guys are kind of like the Orange County Choppers of the side-by-side world. But at the end of the day, we're having a lot of fun and we get to do some different ideas. And
okay. What?
Let's
show our viewers what in God's name we're talking about, because, and this is really one of the things that prompted our conversations. I remember like 6 months ago or something, you started posting this stuff and I contacted you and said, what in God's name is that? Let me see if I can share this with our viewers. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go out to, I'm going to go to Facebook. Can you see my Facebook screen right now, Brandon? Yep. Okay, so now with these Nashty Customs, and I just love this play on words, this using your name as your brand. You create these custom side-by-sides. So if you'd be so kind, tell us about what we're looking at right now.
So this one right here is Running with the Devil. As you know, Eddie Van Halen and his amazing group, he passed away last October. And we had a customer who was flirting with the idea of doing some sort of Nashty custom build. And he's like, man, I love music. I love 80s rock and roll. I want this thing to just scream and rock. Well, he picked a different band, actually. And I had approached him on this idea as far as doing one. And the graphic is Eddie Van Halen's guitar,
Key signature graphic, right?
Exactly. And he didn't choose this one, but I said, I don't care. We're building it anyways. There's no way possible that we can't make this thing happen. So we essentially took this idea and went with it, and just came out really, really nice. From
all right. So tell us more about this. Where can this be found?
So that was
just a hood ornament or what?
No, so basically it is a little guitar replica of Frankenstein. We got it from a gentleman off of Pinterest, and we called him up and said, "Hey, we're doing this build. Can you do one for me?" He said, "Yep, no problem," and made it happen. What's
and
one
you
of the things
saw that and said, "We got to have it." All right, tell us more about the front of this vehicle.
Yeah, so the grill itself, we have a local company that makes our windshields, which is what's on the screen there. And they also make other stuff. We said, hey, can you do a grill? And he said, yeah. What do you want to do? Well, we kind of took Eddie Van Halen's amplifier and made this grill out of it. As far as what the idea.
That is so cool and aggressive looking. All right, tell us about the inside.
Okay, so the inside has got your normal diamond stitching from a company called Triple X here locally. But the main thing about the seats were it had to have white croc skin. I was screaming, 80s rocker, and white croc skin is something that absolutely had to be in there. And I thought it turned out really, really good.
So this is the white croc skin, and I just love this embroidered Nash logo that you've got in each seat.
Yep.
Nice touch. Tell us what we're looking at here.
So this is the, when you're sitting in the car, if you were to look up, that is the underneath the roof. And we just wanted to bring the graphic completely all over, because we have it on the underneath the roof, on top of the roof, inside the doors, on the dash panel. We really wanted you to not forget that you're driving Frankenstein.
So this is all Van Halen all the time.
Yep, 100%. And the stereo absolutely screams.
Did you was this the stock stereo in this thing, or did you amp it up?
It does not come with a stereo.
It does not.
No.
But of course the Van Halen version does.
Yes.
Look at the detail right down to the wheels.
Those wheels are they're a piece of work. They're a piece of artwork there. We have a local company that does our powder coating for us, and they started to do some custom stuff for us, and we're kind of the only ones they like to do it for.
Yeah, I love that highlight there, the red on the inside. That's just great. And this is the rear of the vehicle.
Yep.
Yo, brother, what's this hanging on the side? Is
that's part of the suspension. That's a shock reservoir.
Okay.
Yep. And then in the middle there, that canister looking thing, that's part of the particle separator that allows all the dirt and stuff to not end up inside the motor.
That is wild.
Yep. These are the tie rods or radius rods that go on there. It was a fun build. It was a really fun build.
Now, we're going to look at more. I'm a Harley guy. I don't get this at all. I mean, I don't get it at all. Tell me, who's the person buying these things?
Well, funny enough, a lot of our trades that come in towards this are actually Harleys, because a lot of them. You get your street glide guys, your road glide guys, and they have a blast. They go on their rides, as they say, their t-shirt runs, and they have a blast, and they go all over the country. They go to Sturgis, and then at the end of it, they're like, okay, I don't exactly want to go to a trike. Maybe a friend of theirs has one of these, or they go up to the cabin and rent one. And they come back and say, dude, with age comes a cage. I need one.
I love that. With age comes a cage. Where do you ride these things?
All over. I mean, literally, you can, here in the state of Arizona, you can actually street legalize them and go get a burger down the street or take your kids to school if you wanted to.
Come on. That's
There's tons of
insane.
there's tons of off-road trails. There's sand dunes. I mean, here there's only 4 hours. You can go to down to Mexico and ride on the beach. There's obviously forest and wilderness. There's tons of places.
That's great. Okay, so now are all these things Can-Ams that you start with, or do you build from the frame up, or what?
No, we don't usually build for the frame up unless the customer, is asking for that. That's obviously a lot of labor to take that all apart and do the frame up. But if we are doing the frame up, usually then we start to get crazy with colors and really take it to the full nine. But no, they're stock Can-Ams, and people decide how far to the limit they want to go. It's really not that much different than Harley.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to wrap my aging gray matter around this. So riddle me this: can we talk profit margins?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so what would be the list on that Frankenstein, the Van Halen mod? What's that thing list for?
So that one was listed at 72.4.
72.4.
Yep.
And what's the front end gross on that thing?
If you do it right, that thing ended up just over 11.
So that's insane. All right, cool. Let's look at another couple of these because they're just so impressive. Let's see if I can close out of this, and let's go back here. All right, now you can see the things that we've got here. We've got bling bling, or we've got this beauty.
Yep,
or Laguna Seca. Which would you like to show us?
So, let's take a look at Laguna Seca, because that one was really, really fun.
All right.
So it's interesting when you put a project like this together and where the inspiration comes from. For me, on this particular build was an older BMW M3 in the Laguna Seca color, kind of teal. And I thought for the longest time, man, that would look really good on a color of a car. But I wanted to do something more classy with the seats. And that's why we went with like the cognac brown color seats on there. Gorgeous. And most people would say, dude, you put those seats in a different car, that's going to not look so good. But these two pair and marry really well. And I wanted to do gloss black on everything else, from the bumper to the wheels to the cage, even to the rear of it. We did something totally different. Normally everything's plastic, but on the rear of it, we did it all gloss black, which we partnered with a company here locally, and they did a phenomenal job. I mean, that there, when you look at it, it's like glass. It's going to get dirty. It's going to need to be detailed, and it'll hold up really well, but it's just a different look altogether. But I wanted that BMW/Lambo look on this thing to just really just set it off. And before our meeting here just a second ago, I had standing in the dealership, and a guy's like, "Hey, do you still have Laguna Seca here?" I'm like, "No, man, it's sold." He's like, "I was just here a week ago, and it was here, and I told my buddy, and he wanted to buy it." Like, got to get these things super, super soon, dude. Got to jump on it.
Well, come on in and commission your own, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gobsmacked by all this. Those seats are gorgeous. Yeah, really nicely done. Let me ask you something. Who's financing these things?
So we have, obviously, the manufacturers will finance it. They will,
even with all this customization.
Yeah, that's where a good finance manager is going to understand where his sources are. And a company like Can-Am, they will allow you to finance accessories and stuff like that on a separate entity from their normal traditional financing. So even if you finance it through a local credit union or through them, you can buy all the accessories and stuff separately on a different promotional card or whatever, and just wrap it all together. It's actually pretty simple.
I see. If you were to give a quick demographic thumbnail of age and maybe occupation of the people who are buying these things, could you sketch that out, or is it just so diverse you wouldn't be able to?
It's actually so diverse.
That's wild.
there's a guy middle age, pretty well off that can, do what he does. And then there's a family that just really wants to go out and show off and have fun with all their friends and family and stuff like that. But they got to have the best of the best.
Okay.
Really is a keeping up with the Joneses business.
That's insane. Let's find one more of these for you to walk us through. So of this listing, we've got Talon, we've got Jailbait. How about Veterans Day?
Yeah.
Can you show us this one? Tell us about this one.
So that one there is called Warhawk, and that one is based off a P-40 old, warplane. And
Mustang, right?
Yeah, this one right here is one of my absolute all-time favorite builds, and it's not just because of how it came together. It's actually how the team rallied to get it done. Big car show here in Scottsdale, Barrett-Jackson every single year. We had 7 days to put this thing together and get it out there. And this was pretty much from the frame down that we had to put it all together. So everything on this thing had so much detail, from the seats themselves, which are that brown leather.
Okay, so hang on a second. So you narrate when we click through here. So on the side, you've got the P-41 Mustang graphic. You've got the pinup art here, which I just love. I just think that's great.
All those old warplanes had that.
Yeah. And then you've got the roof rack with the extra petrol on the top, which is is what they used to have on Jeeps and stuff in World War II.
Yeah, the jerry cans. I actually went to an Army surplus store and bought all that stuff. I bought the cans. I bought the ammo supply box, which is in the very back. One of the gear bags, obviously the spare tires up there on the top.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I really liked about this one, I was able to get some canteens and put those on the inside, as well as the camel packs that are right in the seats there. Those brown straps that are there is a full-blown camel pack. So, you're out there riding, fill it with water, just grab a drink real quick, put it back.
Come
both
on,
the passenger and
man.
driver have got that set up. Yep.
That's insane. Now, what is this, a keypad on the steering wheel, or what is that?
So it is a keypad. They call it a Switch Pro. And we wanted that to look kind of like your full-blown cockpit. The pilot's got all the switches and stuff like that there. So that controls all the lighting, that controls the stereo, controls the communication system. It's a very slick setup.
Brandon, what are these things hanging?
Those are your intercoms, right?
Okay,
so those are the headphones and the microphone that go over, so you can communicate with your passengers and your other riders if you're riding with a group.
God, I just love this.
And good quality too.
I love the hood ornament.
Yep. The roof rack, and that absolutely set that car off by having that front crosshair there. It had to have it. The guy that built that did an amazing job.
It's some excellent photography too.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, that is just some killer stuff, man. You've got to be over the moon with this. Now, how many years have you been doing these Nashty customs now?
So the Nashty customs part to this level really started early last year. And it started with, a guy wanting to get a machine by Thanksgiving. And we're talking, I'm having a conversation in the same office I am right now on November 2nd. And I'm like, dude, I can't facilitate that kind of, build and that type of quality car in 2 weeks. So you can buy the car stock, go have fun for your Thanksgiving weekend with your friends and family, bring it back, and we'll get to it. But we were doing that one, and then we're doing another one, which we nicknamed Graffiti. And the Graffiti one was a floor build, one that we were going to build and then put out for sale, not specifically for, one individual customer, but it just kind of morphed into, he bought that one, and then we did the other one, sold it, and one of his buddies, wanted to buy Warhawk, and it just kind of turned into this little honey hole. And it's like, we can do this. We really can. And, supply chains being lower does afford us to be able to do that because pricing is what it is. But again, we're not pricing egregiously. This is what market value is, and you get a lot for it. There's nothing that I can't defend, put it that way.
Are the Nashty customs, is this one of your accomplishments of which you're most proud?
Yeah, to turn something that, was kind of an idea, to work with different vendors so that way they can showcase their parts. It's one thing to have a Nashty Customs on the floor and sell it. It's another thing to have a Nashty Customs on the floor and show other people who have bought, stuff from you. Hey, you can put this, and we make this. And I mean, it really encompasses more than just, one person's project.
Yeah.
And again, it's that campfire situation of, you say, why should I buy from you? What separates you, from everybody else in this hyper competitive market? Well, we do this stuff.
Yeah.
And we're just a little bit different than the other guys.
For years and years, I've asked workshop participants to articulate specifically, why should I do business with you? And at first, we always get the same, shop worn stuff. We get great customer service. We have terrific events. We're family owned. To which I say, look at your answers. Look at the flip chart. And if you've heard your reasons coming out of someone else's mouth, your reasons aren't good enough. Take Brandon's advice. You need to be just a little different, just a little better than the other guys. Stay tuned for our next episode with Brandon, because after watching it, you too will be a little better. Now, go sell something, will ya?